बेटी बीए पास थी। मैंने 4 मई 78 में उसकी शादी की थी। सब लोग कहते थे मोहल्ले वाले, जिस घर में ये लड़की जाएगी उसने कौन से मोती दान किए होंगे, ये तो सोने का घर बनाएगी। और 17 मार्च 79 में ससुराल वालों ने जला के मार दिया था।
I think it is the most heinous and most brutal form of crime is where women are being burnt for the want of consumer goods. We are very, very troubled by this, that why it is happening like this in our country, where women are being burnt, women are being deserted, tortured, harassed for demand of dowry.
The figures say that somewhere in India, every 1 hour and 40 minutes, a woman is killed by husband or in-laws who are consumed by greed. They're called dowry deaths. Now, the fact that more than 5,000 women die every year in this way is bad enough. But people in Delhi will tell you that dowry deaths are merely a symptom of a far deeper social malaise. India, they say, is changing so fast that its cherished institutions and cultures can no longer keep up. And it's easy to understand why Indian women say that they have become the first casualties. Neelam is 26 years old and she's on her way to be sexually harassed. It's all in a day's work. She's a police officer and she knows how to look after herself.
We are brown belt holder. Brown belt. Yeah. Belt holder. Right.
In Delhi, sexual harassment, they call it eve-teasing here, has got so out of hand that each day women police decoys are sent out to catch people at it. It's not a difficult job. With senior plainclothes police waiting in the background, Neelam and her friend Veena need only wait by any bus stop. Within minutes, a businessman has stopped to ask Neelam if she'll go to bed with him. A plainclothes man grabs the ignition keys to stop the driver escaping. Neelam wants the man to show remorse in an Indian manner he would well remember from his school days.
शर्म नहीं आती तुम्हें ऐसी हरकत करते हो इस उम्र में? तुम्हारे बच्चे भी तो इतने बड़े होंगे। क्यों रोकी गाड़ी तुमने? गाड़ी क्यों सड़क पे खड़ी हुई लड़कियां ऐसी लगती है? गाड़ी क्यों रोकी तुमने? शर्म नहीं आती तुम्हें?
For Neelam and her inspector, eve-teasing is merely the very public face of a far more insidious evil. The widespread and routine abuse of Indian women within their own homes and at the hands of their own families. Anita is 24 years old and she's run away from her husband's home after 4 years of constant beatings.
जैसे उन्होंने कहा मैंने वैसे शादी कर दी। शुरू में तो व्यवहार अच्छा था लेकिन बाद में उनका व्यवहार बदलता गया क्योंकि वो दहेज मांगते थे कभी कुछ कभी तो मतलब ये नहीं लाए गैस सिलेंडर नहीं लाए फ्रिज नहीं लाए टीवी नहीं लाए इस तरह से तंग करते थे।
When it became obvious her parents had no more dowry to give, the beatings escalated until she lived in fear that her in-laws would kill her so that her husband could marry again and earn another dowry.
तुम्हारे घर के कुछ नहीं करेंगे, जैसे तुम्हारी मामा की लड़की मार दिया ना उन्हें जान से, तो ऐसे ही तुझे भी जान से मारेंगे, तुम्हारे घर के कुछ नहीं कर सकते.
Dowry has not been really there as a form of pressure on the family earlier. It has come now with more and more consumerism. I see a direct relationship between what is happening now and the consumerism.
Another word for consumerism in this context is, of course, avarice. An avarice that amongst the poor and the middle class has run amok. Where once dowry was seen as a girl's inheritance, in recent decades, in-laws have assumed an inherent right to keep it for themselves.
जब तो हाथ जोड़ रहे थे वे, हमने तो देखे नहीं थे वे, मतलब धोखे में किसी ने करवा दिया, हमने नहीं देखे वे.
For Mataji, an impoverished widow, it means a lifelong debt incurred raising enough dowry for the marriage of her two daughters to two brothers they had never met in a far-off village.
दिया भी बहुत, 10,000 एक बार दिया, मांगा जो भी दिया, फिर बस फिर इतना पूरा क्यों कर पाते.
When she could pay no more, the beatings started. What did you do and what did you feel when you started to hear that your daughters were being beaten and that their husbands were demanding money from you?
बतेरे रोए.
She wept and she wept.
रो रो कर ऐसे होगी, आँख भी खराब होगी.
She spoils her eyesight, she spoils her health by constant weeping.
फिर कहने लगे तुम ये नहीं लाई, तुम वो नहीं लाई, मतलब कुछ कुछ मांगते रहे.
क्या
दहेज के बारे में,
जैसे क्या
मतलब कि कोई ट्रैक्टर या स्कूटर या कुछ भी.
Downstairs, too ashamed to show her face or reveal her name, one of Mataji's daughters tells of the beatings she received over 3 years.
Yeah, she had to get stitches because the stick had nail on it and then the nail tore her skin. So these are the doctor had to give her stitches.
And who did this to them?
कौन ये करता था?
सास भी, ससुर भी, देवर भी, ननद भी, सारी मतलब.
आदमी तो नहीं?
आदमी भी मारता था.
People don't want to report it.
No one wants to talk about it.
Nobody wants to tell people that, this is what happened in my family. Because it's a stigma. And the people who do it naturally are trying to hide it because it's a crime by law and they can be punished. So they don't want it to be known. The girl's parents, the girl's family don't want it to be known because they think it's a stigma for the other girls who are in the family. How will they get married and what will happen to them? And that's the thing which keeps it hidden.
अगर टीवी एक बार चलाओ, 3 महीने रखा तुमने सामान, बर्तन इसके एक निकले आओ, फ्रिज का निकला आओ, मैडम इससे जरा पूछो थोड़ी क्या चीज यूज करी हमने बताओ. वॉशिंग मशीन है वो भी खुद रख.
Dowries are the cause of such conflict that special women's police units have been set up to deal with them.
मैडम इसने मेरे को धमकी दी है कि तुमने 2 लाख रुपए दहेज मांगा है मेरे से.
Inspector Prem Lata has seen and heard it all before.
बच्चे गलत बात कभी नहीं करते हैं. मेरे को तो ये कहती है ना.
मैडम नई बातें पैदा होती हैं, इसकी तो नई बातें पैदा होती हैं रोज.
तो फिर किस बात को मेरे को यहाँ बुलाया 6 महीने से?
आप कहाँ से आए हो?
सोनीपत से.
आपके साथ क्या हुआ?
जी मेरे हस्बैंड ने दूसरी शादी कर ली.
Downstairs, 25-year-old Prem Kumari has finally screwed up enough courage to complain, but she is terrified.
ऐसा है कि आप यहाँ एप्लीकेशन दे जाइए और यहाँ जैसा होगा आपके साथ अच्छा ही होगा. यहाँ बातें होंगी, यहाँ हमारे ऑफिसर हैं, बहुत अच्छे डील करते हैं कंप्लेंट, आप उनसे बातें करो.
Prem's plight is deadly serious. Not only is she facing disgrace, but her bigamous husband, who now controls her entire worldly wealth, has thrown her out onto the streets.
अब कितने भी 50,000 रुपये लाग दे मेरे को मकान बनाना है, तो ऐसे भी किसी भी टाइम मारने पीटने लग जाते हैं मेरे को और घर से निकाल दिया करते भी 50,000 रुपये लाग दे यानी मैं तेरे को जान से मार दूँगा.
Meanwhile, upstairs, Om Prakash and his wife Rajari continue to battle it out without resolution.
उनके अपनी चीज मेरे इतनी है कि मैं अपनी चीज से गुजारा कर सकता हूं, पर मैं इनके घर से ली चीज. ये बात आपको शादी के समय पे करनी चाहिए. ये मैंने इनसे को पूछो डिमांड.
Married for 6 months, Om and Ranjari have spent 3 of them fighting over the dowry, and especially about whatever happened to the jewellery.
जेवर वो मेरे पास नहीं है, जेवर ले आ चुकी है. ज्वेलरी वगैरह थी ये जिस टाइम वहाँ से निकली थी 3 महीने पहले यहाँ से मेरे घर से गई है ये, तो ये लेके गई थी अपने साथ.
मैडम मेरे पास नहीं है. मेरे पास है ही नहीं, इन्होंने दिया ही नहीं, पहली रात में उतार लिया जब मैं शादी होकर गई थी।
Marriage in India has always been more of a business affair between families than an affair of the heart. Love rarely comes into it. With love marriages, would you expect to have the same problem?
I think it's not there. It's much less. I would say in love marriages, if there are 100 cases, only 99 cases are all where there is no dowry given and taken. Maybe 1% somewhere you hear about it.
So has the idea of an arranged marriage outlived its usefulness in India?
You can't say that. You can't say that when it's 90%, 99% of the people are practicing it.
Despite the increasing complications and self-evident dangers of traditional marriage in a modern India, people of all classes cling to it still.
Do you want to buy an earring?
Jyoti is 20, a modern young woman, a university graduate, a fashion designer by profession. Her parents are considering a marriage proposal passed on through distant relatives from a family they do not know.
Do you want to?
Our date of birth?
5th September 1976.
Like 98% of Indians, one of the first things Jyoti's parents do is consult an astrologer about the proposal.
The whole exercise is aimed at only one thing, that there is more of compatibility, harmony, and success of the marriage. And for that process, traditionally we go with this kind of process actually. That is the matchmaking, that kundli making.
Swami Raj is one of India's best-known astrologers, but steeped though he is in tradition, he's now come to doubt the wisdom of arranged marriages.
So this arranged marriage, without the proper consent of the girl, proved injurious and damaging later on. Because there should be a natural liking. Because now the things have changed, in my opinion, the consent of the girl is a must. It's a must.
At this age, like at the age I am, you cannot decide what exactly you would need in future. Like, the parents are there to decide. They're more experienced. They can decide on your part.
If you have an arranged marriage, would you expect to fall in love with the man you married?
Yeah, definitely. Because before getting arranged marriage also, I would like to meet that person 2-3 times so that I'm able to get him properly, get to know him, how he is, how
Just
his
2 or 3
nature is.
times, is that all?
Maybe. Maybe.
Okay, now
you
here's
can judge a person like within two meetings. You can judge a person how he is, I think.
When Jyoti was just 2 years old, Satya Chadda's daughter died. She was burnt to death.
This photograph is my daughter.
And how old was she when this photograph was taken? How old? How many years?
24 years.
24. For 18 years, Satya has been driven almost mad by grief and by despair that her son-in-law has so far escaped scot-free and earned a new dowry by marrying again. So this is the one that says, I, the undersigned mother of the late Mrs. Sashi Balla, that's your daughter, the girl who was murdered by her in-laws by burning in most pathetic circumstances in an advanced stage of pregnancy. After 18 years, her case is still in the courts, with no end in sight.
मेरे में क्या दोष है, समाज में क्या दोष है, सारा दोष कोर्ट में है जो जल्दी निर्णय नहीं देती. हिंदुस्तान का लॉ को दोष दूंगी पूरा, कि जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट को दोष दूंगी, पार्लियामेंट को दोष दूंगी. कि भाषण में तो ये है, मैं ये कर रहा हूँ.
I think when you go to the courts, you see that so many cases there is not been a single judgment, except for one case, where the culprits have really been punished.
My daughter, Katil, burning.
The man who did the burning, huh?
Burning.
Since Satya's daughter died, at least another 80,000 young women have been killed by their husbands and in-laws. Dowry deaths have become India's great unpunished crime.
Woman rights, woman rights, woman rights. क्या woman rights? वुमन राइट्स हम अपने देश में नहीं मांग सकते। क्या हिंदुस्तान कई औरतों के लिए होगा? दिन दिन रेप हो रहे हैं, बाप बेटी का समागम हो रहा है। ये क्या है? क्या वुमन राइट्स? मगर वो कहते थे कि बाड़ी खेत को खा रही है तो कोई क्या करेगा। तो ये बाढ़ हिंदुस्तान को खा रही है। जो आज हमारे रक्षक हैं वो भक्षक बन गए हैं।